Welcome to today's episode. Are you struggling on how to write your PhD thesis or research proposal or uh, your dissertations? Are you struggling to craft a powerful research problem statement that it will owe your supervisors, your professors, and even the panelists will go through your work? So let's face it today. Most research problems sound like vague complaints or just generic observations. The problem we have with issues to do with how to write a powerful research problem statement are so much that I've decided to put up this video to help somebody, to help the researcher, to help those who are doing their research in their PhD level, in their master's level, and also in their graduate level, to understand how they can be able to craft a good research problem statement. So today I'm going to show you how you are supposed to write a high-valued, academically solid, and impactful problem statement. The kind that will get approved, you can get funding and also attention from your supervisors, from your professors, and from your whatever who is guiding you through whatever research proposal you are writing. Through the experience and through evaluating different articles, different theses, different dissertations and research proposals, it seems there is a need for those who are entering into this area, for the student and also for the researchers, and for those who are looking for the funding, to be able to craft a problem statement that will demonstrate that there is a problem and this problem needed to be resolved. And if it is not resolved, then this is the problem, that this is the challenge that is going to be there, and where is the problem. So it's not just writing something like you are complaining there is this problem. That is fake, that is vague, that is not here nor there. It is writing a problem statement that demonstrates really there is a problem. So stay with me and let us dive in and go through some few points that will make us know how to craft a good research problem statement. So, section 1. What makes a powerful problem statement? So what is exactly a problem statement? That's what you need to understand very carefully. What is exactly a problem statement? So without using so many vocabulary, so many English and so many language, think of it like a diagnosis before treatment. A precise description of a condition that needs urgent academic attention, with a hint of how to fix it. You have gone to a doctor. The first things that he has to do is to do a diagnosis test before the treatment. So that is exactly what is a problem statement. You need to diagnose the problem that need to be treated. But behind your mind, you have a hint on how to fix that problem, or you know how to fix that disease. Exactly just like a doctor who do diagnosis before he do any treatment. a very precise description of the condition that needs urgent attention. That is what is a problem statement. Not 3 pages, 5 pages, 2 pages. Of course, this depends with the university, but a good research problem statement, it is very short, it is very precise, and it answers some of the questions that we are going to go through here. But a high-valued problem statement doesn't rabble. It is just 1 or 2 powerful lines, which is followed by evidence and elaborations. That is it. So all other things that you are writing, you are just giving an evidence and elaboration. But a problem statement is 1 and 2 powerful lines. This is what I'm saying. If a doctor is trying to diagnose what is ailing you, at the end of the day, it is 1 statement. He has a malaria. He has a certain disease. Just that. Just 1 line or 2, but very powerful, just demonstrating this person is sick and he is having a malaria or pneumonia. Full stop. Then after that is going to be followed by evidence, by elaboration explaining how the conditions comes in, what is the solution, and if it is not treated, what will be the effect. And this is finally, this is how it is supposed to be treated. That is what we call a problem statement. So don't waste all your time writing so much, and when your professor or your academic advisor go through your problem statement, he cannot connect the dot. It is not here nor there. There is no 1 or 2 statements that are so powerful that are demonstrating the problem. And the tip is this: don't just start your problem statement with phrases like there is a problem in the society. Remember, you are not writing a news report. So I've seen people saying there is starting with a phrases or statement like there is a problem in the society. Who told you that you are writing a report? A news report. This is not a news report. You must be very specific and anchor it in a scholarly gaps. That is why you need to demonstrate with evidences, with citations, with empirical evidences that demonstrate clearly there is a gap in whatever you are doing. A PhD problem statement must answer the following questions. And I'm very specific on this. And this, most of the cases, it cuts across even the master's level, the undergraduate level, the researchers, those who are looking for the funds, those who are writing proposals. They must demonstrate there is a problem, and that is why they are looking for this fund to solve this problem. It must answer the following questions. 1, what is the problem? 2, where is the problem? You must demonstrate there is a problem and where is the problem. Number 3, why is this problem urgent? Why does it need to be resolved? Number 4, how can it be solved? How is your work? How are you going to structure your work to solve this problem? Number 5, who is affected? So if there is no one who is affected, then why are you solving it? Why are you doing that research? Number 6, is it a current issue? Or it is a problem that was solved a long time ago, and you are trying to do something which is null and void, which is not going to take you nowhere. is it a current issue that needs urgent attention? Number 7, will it persist if left unresolved? Get it right. Will it persist if it's left unresolved? For example, if you are looking at why is it that there is a decline in the performance of an organization. So if it is not resolved, what will happen? You must demonstrate that. And number 8, does it challenge or support existing knowledge? And that takes you back to what we've been discussing in other videos. Have you done enough empirical literature review to understand what other scholars have written, have discussed, maybe related to the problem that you are trying to solve? Are there existing supporting evidence? That is what we are talking about. Support existing knowledge. Is it going to support the existing knowledge? So my friend, this is not a checklist. This is just your blueprint to guide you through. I've not given you a checklist. It is the blueprint which you must follow, which must appear in your work. So when somebody reads your problem statement, then behind his mind, he must see this question being answered in your dissertation, in your thesis, in your research proposal. So section 2, we want to see the real example, and I'm going to demonstrate using one of the articles that I wrote about NSC, that is Nairobi Security Exchange Firms in Kenya, and the corporate governance practices. Now, let me show you how this works in real life. And I have a sample of a PhD level problem statement from a finance research project based on companies listed on Nairobi Security Exchange. And this is a good example that is going to demonstrate how those research questions are answered inside your problem statement. I'm just going to give you an overview, and later I will show you a full problem statement, how it flows without breaking. Of course, here I will break maybe into sections, into parts, just to demonstrate how it's supposed to be done. But it should be something that is flowing, either half a page, a quarter page, or a full page. Some universities will say 2 pages, others will say 3 pages. But remember what I've said. The real problem statement is either 1 or 2 statements or 2 lines, and the other, what follows, is an evidence to support, to elaborate on the issue. And this is how it goes, that over the last 10 years, many NSE listed companies have shown a steady decline in financial performance. For example, the raw profits, declining returns on assets, delisting, and even total investors' loss of confidence. That is the problem. But here is the twist. This is happening despite ongoing reforms by Kenya Capital Market Authority, CMA. CMA has been facilitating a lot of reforms at NSC for those firms that have been listed. But despite that, there is this problem. So governance frameworks are in place, yet firms are still underperforming. So remember what I've been talking about the corporate governance practices and the financial performance of the firms listed at Nairobi Security Exchange. So there is a decline. The problem is very clear. There is either declining asset returns or losses or being delisted. But why is this happening? Despite having stringent rules and regulation from the regulator, that is the Capital Market Authority, which has put into place good governance framework. But yet, these firms are still underperforming. This creates a paradox and begs an urgent research questions. And this is the question: are these corporate governance reforms actually working? Are these corporate governance reforms actually working? The core problem is this: there seems to be a disconnect between corporate governance practices like the board size, board diversity, and board composition, and the expected financial performance. That is the core problem. I hope we are together up to that point. So your task as a researcher is this: you need to test this relationship, measure it, and find out which governance factors matter most between the board size, the board diversity, and the board composition. And more importantly, recommend what need to change. And more importantly, recommend what need to change. So you can see the problem is very precise. Anybody can see it, can understand it, and even without reading more, it is demonstrated clearly that there is a problem. And this problem is there despite having a regulator who is regulating these firms, but still the problem is there. So your work as a researcher is to see how you're going to test this relationship, you measure it, and see which factor is contributing to underperforming at NC. And after that, you are going to recommend what needs to be done, what needs to be changed to solve this problem. Because if it continues, then this firm will be delisted, they will go under, people will lose money, and so many other things will happen. Section 3, the big picture. And the big picture is this: why does it matter? Or why it matters? That's the big picture. Why it matters. I have to test this relationship, I have to measure, and recommend for a change. But this is not just about firms making or losing money. The capital market is a backbone of the economy development. So when firms underperform, we are talking about investor losses, we are talking about the job cuts, we are talking about economic instability, we are talking about erosion of the public interest, and finally a long-term reputation damage of the Kenya's investment climate. So that is why it matters. And that is the problem. And your work now is to demonstrate using an evidence. So a powerful problem statement, therefore, it is not just academic, it has a real world urgency and the impact. And that is why it matters. Section 4. Your innovation as a scholar. What is your innovation as a scholar in this work? So as a scholar, you are not just pointing out what's broken. And this is where many researchers fall into this trap. They think their work is just to point out where the problem is or or pointing out what is broken. You are adding value to knowledge. You are saying, look, this theory worked in US or in Europe, but maybe it does not apply the same way in Kenya. Let's test it here and see what we're going to find out. That's innovation. And that is what we call contribution. So your work is not just to point out the broken parts. You are adding value to the knowledge. And you're saying, look here, this and this is not working, or this and this has been working in Asia, this one has been working in South Africa. But maybe it does not work here in Kenya, it does not work here in Nigeria, it does not work here in Lebanon, it does not work here in South Africa. So let's test it. Let's test it here and see what we find, or what we're going to find out. And that is what we call the innovation. And that will be your contribution in the knowledge. Get this is clear. That will be your contribution. So your work is not just to point out the problem, it's to give out a contribution. As Jacob 2013 put it best, that the research problem is the main part of any scientific inquiry. Without it, there is no direction, there is no question, no answers. So you must start strong by pointing out where the problem is and why does it matter, and how does it contribute to the knowledge. So Jacob put it very clearly in his article that it is a main part of any scientific academic inquiry, academic research. And if it is not there, then you are not providing any direction. Where are you going? It will give us the direction. And that is why the problem statement is very, 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 very key. And there will be no question and there will be no answers. So you must start it at a very high note, at a very strong part of your work. Section 5. How to make yours a high-valued research problem statement. Yours. If you are a PhD scholar, you are a master scholar, you are a graduate student, you are a researcher, you are writing a proposal looking for the fund, how can you make your problem statement of the highest value? This is the tip. Don't just describe the symptoms. Diagnose the core problem. Many of the dissertations, many of the theses, many of the research proposals that have been written, have gone through, they just describe the symptoms. And that's why you spend a lot of time writing 1 page, 2 pages, 3 pages, 5 problems, without diagnosing what is the problem. What is the problem? You need to diagnose the core problem. Just like the one that we have diagnosed here, that the core problem is this. 2, ground it in scholarly gaps. How do you ground it in scholarly gaps? Use citations. Use evidence. What other peoples have done? What are the inconsistencies in the literature? What are the neutrality literature? Where are the positive relationships? Where are the negative relationships? Where are the neutral relationships? Where are no relationships? Those are the issues that you need to point out. And then you tell us where is the problem. And point number 3, make it time sensitive. This means why now? Why it need to be done now? And that make your work urgency. This problem need to be addressed now. That is, we're saying make it time sensitive. Why now? And why are you doing this research now? Because of if it is not addressed now, the farms will go down. The Kenyan economy will go down. The Uganda economy will go down. The Southern Africa economy will go down. And that is why you need to address it now, depending on which country and where you are, depending on the scope of your work. Point number 4, think about the systems and the stakeholders. Think about the systems and the stakeholders. That means who is losing. You need to answer the question, who is losing? That's just like what we have identified, that there will be job cuts, being the backbone of the economy, people will lose their jobs, the farms will go under, we'll have so many problems. So who is losing? Point number 5, end with a purpose. You end it with a purpose. What will your research achieve at the end of the day? This is what you're saying. What will your research achieve? That is what you're saying. End it with a purpose. Finally, we are saying do this well, and your entire thesis, your entire research proposal, your entire dissertation will have clarity, impact, and authority from day one. Nobody will question you. So here is an example of the entire problem statement, incorporating all what we have said in one whole statement. And I will read it through. And it starts like this. And inside it, I want you to be very keen that you're going to identify all those questions that we are saying are incorporated in this problem statement. It might not be the best. It might not be the perfect. As I said in the other video, there is no academic research work which is perfect. It can have some loopholes, but this is how it is supposed to be done. Over the past decade, several firms listed on the Nairobi Security Exchange, that is NC, have experienced a steady decline in financial performance, as indicated by following returns on assets, reduced profitability, delisting, and loss of investors' confidence. The core problem is that despite Kenya's progressive adoption of corporate governance codes and reforms championed by the Capital Market Authority, financial performance among publicly listed firms persists. Full stop. This paradox raises critical questions about the effectiveness of specific corporate governance practices, particularly the board composition, the board size, and board diversity, in influencing firm performance in Kenya capital market. Very clear. So there we have demonstrated what is the problem and where the problem is. The problem statement continues to say this. This problem is most acute within the firms listed on Nairobi Security Exchange. Kenya Principal Security Exchange, which hosts key firms that play a central role in the country economic development. The decline in financial performance in this segment is particularly troubling, given that these firms are presumed to be under strict regulatory oversight and expected to demonstrate high standard of accountability and financial stewardship. The problem statement continues to say, the potential solutions lies in empirically evaluating and understanding how specific board governance practices, such as the mix of executive and non-executive directors, which is the board composition, optimal number of board members, that is the board size, and the representation in terms of the gender, experience, and the skills, that is the board diversity, affects the financial outcomes of these firms. Full stop. By identifying which governance configuration drives or hinder financial performance, appropriate and evidence-based governance structures and policies can be recommended. The problem statement continues to say this. Solving this problem is critical because a robust and financially healthy capital market is key to national development, employment creation, and investors' trust. Full stop. When firms fail financially, despite complying with governance framework, it erodes confidence not only in the firms but also in the governance systems themselves. Full stop. As a scholar and a practitioner in finance and governance, I'm to bridge this gap by generating actionable insights that could influence policy reforms, strengthen corporate accountability, and improve the competitiveness of the Kenyan listed firms. Full stop. We are still answering the key questions. The problem continues. The problem statement continues to this. This is a current and pressing issue as a report from CMA from 2021 to 2023 audit findings and shareholder statement shows that several listed companies are posting recurrent losses despite corporate governance efforts. Unless addressed, this problem will likely persist, leading to further capital freeze, job losses, economic inefficiencies, and reputational damage to Kenya investment climate. Full stop. The statement continues. Stakeholders affected by these problems include investors, both local and international, company employees, regulators, policymakers, and the general public who depends on the stability of listed firms for income, investment opportunities, and national economic growth. Full stop. The continued decline also threatens the integrities of the Kenya capital markets, which are meant to drive sustainable economic development. Full stop. So there we are seeing who are affected adversely by this problem. In that chapter, in that paragraph of the whole problem statement. Finally, the problem continues to say this. This study seeks to evaluate, verify, and possibly challenge or enrich existing knowledge on corporate governance practices and financial performance. Through focusing on emerging markets context, that is Kenya, this research contributes to the broader literature by providing context-specific insights that may differ from those in developed markets, where most corporate governance theories have been developed and tested. Full stop. So that is a whole problem statement, answering all those questions, putting them into context, and that will win your reviewers, will win your professors, and also your supervisors to allow you to continue. It has given us the direction. It has given us the question and the answers. And now we can continue now to see how we are going to solve that problem. The direction is very, very clear. The direction has been given very clear and very specific. So how have you written your statement, your research statement problem? How do you write your research statement problem? Answer that question. And that's the question we have tried to answer in this video. If you have found this video to be very helpful, you can smash that button, subscribe, you can like it for more academic writing tips, and share it with someone who is writing a thesis, who is writing a dissertation, who is writing a research proposal, and or somebody who has got questions about your problem statement. So you can drop your comments in this section about how you can be assisted. So if you have a challenge on writing a good statement of problem, you can always contact the Board Vision Academy. They will help you. They will consult. You can consult them, and they will be able to advise you on the best way that you can be able to do a good research problem statement. Remember, a weak problem statement wastes years. A powerful one can change everything. You waste a lot of time writing a very weak problem statement that has no direction, has no question to be answered, and there is no solution. So this video is very important, and it is very helpful for those who are writing their dissertation, are writing their thesis, are doing their research. They are doing their research. It can help you to see it in a different perspective. So this one is very practical. It's not what you have done in class. It is very practical. So until that point, thank you very much. Until next time.